The 2006 McDonald's All-American team is filled with several solid NBA players, a few cases of wasted potential, and one of the best scorers of all time. As far as guys who didn't make the roster but went on to have pro success, this year's class includes all-time Shaqtin' champ JaVale McGee, one-time MVP Russell Westbrook, and Russ's greatest nemesis, Patrick Beverley. Oh, and some guy named Steph Curry. That said, those guys didn't make this list, so let's jump into the 2006 class of McDonald's All-Americans and see what happened. Darrell Arthur. Arthur signed to play college ball at Kansas, becoming the first Jayhawk to wear 00 since Greg Ostertag. As a freshman, he played solid minutes, but didn't start much. Still, Arthur averaged 10 points and 5 boards to make the Big 12 All-Freshman roster. The next year, he bumped those numbers up to 13 and 6 while helping Kansas to a national title win. The Hornets picked Arthur 27th overall in the 2008 draft, but he was quickly traded several times, eventually ending up with Memphis. During rookie training camp, he and Kansas teammate Mario Chalmers were excused from camp due to a marijuana-related incident but were not fined. He started 64 games as a rookie, but averaged just 6 points and 5 boards. He missed most of the 2010 season and was relegated to the bench in 2011. Arthur missed the entire 2012 season with an injury and came back in 2013 to ride the bench for Memphis. The Grizz traded him to the Nuggets ahead of the 2014 season. He finished out his career with 5 years in Denver, but never became more than an average bench player. Arthur was traded to the Suns in 2018 and waived, ending his NBA career. As of 2025, Arthur was back with the Nuggets, working as part of Denver's development staff. DJ Augustin. Like many in the area during this era, Augustin was forced from his home in New Orleans due to Hurricane Katrina. He ended up spending his high school senior season playing in Texas and signed to play his college ball with the Longhorns. As a freshman, he poured in 14 points, 6.7 assists, and 1.5 steals to make the All-Big 12 team. He upped his scoring to 19 as a sophomore to become a first-team All-American and win the Bob Cousy Award as the nation's best point guard. He decided to jump into the draft, and the Bobcats picked him 9th overall in 2008. Augustin averaged 12 points and 3.5 assists as a rookie to make the all-rookie squad. After a sophomore season that saw him fall out of the starting lineup, Augustin established himself as a solid hand at the point guard position for several years. He played for 14 seasons, never making an all-star team or winning a title, but consistently getting contracts with new teams and almost always averaging double digits. Augustin's last game came in 2022 with the Lakers, but he did not technically retire until 2024. In 2025, he joined the Rockets' front office staff. Chase Budinger. Budinger was a standout basketball and volleyball player in high school. Not only did he win co-MVP at the McDonald's game, but he led his school to 3 straight volleyball state championships and was named the Volleyball Magazine National Player of the Year as a senior. Budinger decided to attend Arizona, a school that does not have a men's volleyball team. He dropped nearly 16 points a night to win the Pac-10 Freshman of the Year award. Budinger flirted with going to the draft, but pulled his name at the last minute and grew into a first-team All-Pac-10 player by 2009. The next year he did enter the draft, and the Pistons picked him in the second round. They quickly traded him to the Rockets, and after showing out in Summer League, Budinger earned a role on the team. He spent 3 years playing solid minutes for Houston, averaging 9 points a game, and representing the team in the 2012 dunk contest. He lost the fan vote to Jeremy Evans in a squeaker, finishing second above Paul George. Ahead of the 2013 season, Budinger was traded to the Timberwolves. He spent 3 years with Minnesota, but his playing time steadily dropped. Before the 2016 season, he was traded to the Pacers. Budinger played in 49 games before being traded to Phoenix to end the season. Budinger then spent a year playing in Spain before making a career switch. In 2017, Budinger started playing professional beach volleyball. He won a gold medal during the 2023 World Tour and qualified for the 2024 Olympics with his partner Miles Evans. The duo finished 9th overall. Budinger's older sister Brittany and older brother Duncan also play professional volleyball. Damon Carter. Better known as Tweety, Carter signed to play college ball at Baylor. He spent 4 years with the Bears, growing his scoring and assists every season until hitting his peak with 15 points and 6 assists during his senior season. That year, he also made the All-Big 12 roster, but Tweety was not selected in the NBA draft. He spent a year playing in the D-League before jumping overseas. Carter spent time in Latvia, Israel, Croatia, the Czech Republic, Germany, France, Lithuania, Poland, Greece, and Portugal. Soon after retiring in 2022, Carter joined Baylor as a director of player development. Tweety was promoted to assistant coach in 2024. Earl Clark. Clark left Jersey to play for Louisville. He mostly came off the bench as a freshman to average about 6 points a night. He took a larger role in the next 2 seasons, peaking at 14 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal, and 1 block a night during his junior season. He decided to jump into the 2009 draft, where the Suns picked him 14th overall. Clark played in 51 games that season, but had limited minutes and spent some time in the D-League. He was traded to the Magic in 2010, continuing to play limited minutes over about a year and a half. Clark was traded to the Lakers in 2012 as part of the Dwight Howard trade. That ended up being his best stint in the league. Clark averaged 7 points and 5 rebounds while starting 36 games, but signed with the Cavs after the season. The big man spent a few years bopping between NBA rosters and overseas stints before fully moving overseas in 2016. Clark did stints in China, Turkey, Montenegro, Spain, Korea, Puerto Rico, the Philippines, and Taiwan. He retired in 2025 and has been playing in the Big Three, so I'd suspect he's going to continue to play for at least a few more years. Sherron Collins. Collins joined Arthur at Kansas. The point guard quickly established himself as a solid player off the bench, averaging 9 points and 3 assists to make the Big 12's all-freshman team. In 2008, he held a similar role as the Jayhawks ran to a title. Collins became a starter in 2009 and more than delivered, averaging 19 points, 5 assists, and 1 steal to make the second-team All-American roster. Stats-wise, Collins actually fell back slightly the next year, but he still became a first-team All-American and won the Lute Olson and Francis Pomeroy Naismith Awards to close out his college career. Collins was not selected in the 2010 draft, but spent the 2011 season playing with the Bobcats. That said, he only played in 20 games and spent most of the season in the D-League. Collins then spent a year playing in Turkey before spending a few seasons playing in the D-League. Collins retired in 2018 and moved into a coaching career in 2022. As of 2025, he's working as a high school coach in Missouri, where he recently picked up the state's Coach of the Year award. Mike Conley. Conley's dad was an Olympic gold medal winner in the triple jump at the '92 Olympics. He won the silver in the same event in the '84 games. On top of that, Conley's uncle was a third-round pick in the NFL draft in '96 and played linebacker for a few years in the late '90s. To say the younger Conley had a great athletic pedigree would be an understatement. Conley was born in Arkansas, but came to national prominence playing high school ball in Indiana. He then signed with Ohio State and helped a guy we'll talk about shortly lead the Buckeyes to a runner-up finish at the '06 NCAA tourney. After averaging 11 points, 6 assists, and 2 steals as a freshman, Conley decided to jump to the NBA. The Grizzlies picked him 4th overall in the 2007 draft. He spent 12 years in Memphis, becoming one of the most consistent point guards in the league, but never getting the national recognition that he probably deserved, making no All-Star teams and only receiving a single All-Defensive Second Team nod. Still, Conley continued to produce at a high clip, averaging 15 points, 6 assists, and 1.5 steals over his time there. Unfortunately, he was never able to lead the Grizzlies to the promised land, and Conley was traded to the Jazz ahead of the 2020 season. In 2021, he finally made his first All-Star team at the ripe old age of 33 years old. After another season and a half, Money Mike was traded to the Timberwolves in a 3-team deal. He's still in Minnesota as of the 2026 season, and while he's definitely lost a step, he continues to be a steady presence at the point, giving the Timberwolves a veteran leader and helping them to back-to-back Western Conference Finals in 2024 and 2025. It's going to be fun to see how well he plays in Season 19. Daequan Cook. Cook joined Conley at Ohio State, but is not the player I previously mentioned. As a freshman, he came off the bench to average 10 points a night and decided to jump into the 2007 draft. The 76ers picked him 21st overall, but quickly traded him to the Heat. He jumped between Miami and the D-League as a rookie, but played in 59 games, averaging about 9 points a night. Over the next 2 years with the Heat, his numbers did not get much better, though he did win the 3-point shootout at the 2009 All-Star Game. Ahead of the 2011 season, he was traded to the Thunder. Cook played there for 2 seasons, coming off the bench as a 3-point specialist. He helped OKC make the 2012 Finals, but lost to his former team as LeBron James and the Heatles ran over the young Thunder. He was sent to Houston as part of the James Harden trade, but was waived midway through the season. Cook finished that year with the Bulls and then jumped into an overseas career. He spent time in Ukraine, Germany, France, Portugal, Iran, and Israel before retiring in 2020. As of 2024, he's running youth camps back in Ohio, helping raise the next generation of hoopers. Javaris Crittenton. Crittenton played alongside Dwight Howard in high school as a sophomore when the latter was a senior, and helped the big guy take the team to a state title. The young guard then made a name for himself and signed with Georgia Tech. He dropped 14 points, 6 assists, and 2 steals as a freshman to make the All-ACC roster. Crittenton then decided to jump into the 2007 draft. The Lakers picked him 19th overall. As a rookie, he played sparingly, averaging 3 points off the bench. He was traded to Memphis midway through the season in the Pau Gasol trade and bumped his scoring up to 7 points a game to end the season. After 7 games in 2009, he was sent to the Wizards. While there, Crittenton was involved in a locker room confrontation with teammate Gilbert Arenas. Guns were involved and both players were suspended for the rest of the season. While Arenas was brought back to the team, Crittenton was released. He spent a year playing in China in the D-League, but in 2011, he again found himself in legal trouble. That year, he was arrested for murder. He was eventually indicted on 12 counts and sentenced to 23 years in prison. The sentence was later reduced to 10 years, and he was released in 2023. Since then, Crittenton seems to be on the right path and is giving back to his community. If you want to learn more about his and Arenas' story, Netflix released a short documentary about the event called Untold Shooting Guards in 2025. Kevin Durant. KD was born in DC, but his favorite team growing up was the Toronto Raptors. After 2 years at National Christian, Durant spent a year at the basketball factory Oak Hill before finishing his high school career at Montrose. He became one of the top players in the country and won the McDonald's MVP before joining Augustin at Texas. If he'd been eligible, KD has said that he would have jumped into the draft as a high school senior because the Raptors had the first pick. But he dominated at Texas, winning the unanimous National Player of the Year and pretty much every other relevant award with 26 points, 11 rebounds, 2 steals, and 2 blocks a night. It was one of the most dominant freshman performances we've ever seen, and the Supersonics picked him 2nd overall in the 2007 draft. He stormed out of the gate, dropping 20 points a night to win Rookie of the Year. Seattle moved to OKC between his rookie and sophomore seasons, but Durant did not slow down. In 2009, he boosted his scoring to 25 a night, while the Thunder started acquiring pieces needed to build a contender, most notably fellow 2006 classmate Russell Westbrook. In 2010, Durant led the league in scoring with 30 points a night. He led the NBA in scoring for the next 2 years, firmly establishing himself as one of the league's best players and taking OKC to the 2012 Finals, where they lost to the Heat. Unfortunately, the Thunder front office got rid of James Harden after the season, hurting the team's chances to contend and its relationship with KD. Still, the dominant wing scorer became the youngest player to join the 50-40-90 club in 2013, though he did just miss out on winning another scoring title. Russ was hurt in that year's playoffs, and OKC couldn't make it back to the finals. 2014 was KD's best season ever. He won the MVP award with 32 points, 7 boards, 5 assists, and 1 steal a night. However, the team again fell short in the playoffs, losing to the Spurs in the Western Conference Finals. He spent 2 more years in OKC, though he missed a big chunk of the 2015 season with an injury. KD and Westbrook could never get over the hump, so Durant controversially announced that he was starting a new chapter and joining the Golden State Warriors, who were coming off of a 73-win season. You can argue he took the easy route, but you can't deny that the easy money sniper played a crucial role in Golden State winning back-to-back titles, as he won Finals MVP in both seasons. Unfortunately, injuries hampered his playoff performance in 2019, and KD eventually tore his Achilles in the finals against Toronto. The team lost, and he missed an entire year of ball. During his rehab, he decided to sign with the Nets. That put him on the same team as James Harden and Kyrie Irving, but the trio struggled to stay on the court, and his time in Brooklyn was probably the worst stretch of his career. The Slim Reaper requested a trade and was sent to the Suns midway through the 2023 season. He continued to pour in buckets, but Phoenix couldn't build a contender around him. After 2 years, he was traded to the Houston Rockets ahead of the 2026 season. At 37, he probably only has a few more years in him, but KD is a no-doubt Hall of Famer. He is a 1-time MVP, 2-time Finals MVP, 15-time All-Star, 4-time scoring champ, 11-time All-NBA selection, and 2-time champion. As of the first game of the 2026 season, he sits in 8th all-time in scoring. And if he plays for a few more years, he could move ahead of Michael Jordan into 5th, if not higher. In addition to his NBA exploits, Durant is one of the best international players of all time. He has 4 Olympic golds and led the team in scoring during 3 of those games. That said, despite all of the accolades, we all know that Wanda is the real MVP of the family.
You the real MVP.
Wayne Ellington. Ellington signed to play college ball at North Carolina. As a freshman, he averaged a more than respectable 12 points a night. He bumped that up to 17 as a sophomore, before settling at 16 during his junior season. That year, he went on a tear during the NCAA tournament, leading the Tar Heels to a title while picking up the Most Outstanding Player award. He decided to skip his senior season and jump into the 2009 draft. The Timberwolves picked him 28th overall. After 3 years in Memphis, Ellington embarked on a long career as a journeyman, playing for 9 different teams over 13 years and averaging 8 points off the bench as a solid guard option. His best stretch came in 2018 with the Heat, where Ellington averaged 11 points and finished in 5th for 6th Man of the Year voting. The man with the golden arm retired after the 2022 season and began coaching with the Heat in 2023. He's still with the team as of 2025, working in player development. Spencer Hawes. Hawes was only 6'4" when he entered high school, but grew to 7'1" by the time he was playing college ball at Washington. He also had basketball in his blood, as his uncle Steve spent 10 years in the NBA from 1976 to 1984, and his dad played at Washington. During his lone year on campus, Hawes averaged 15 points and 6.5 rebounds to make the Pac-10 All-Freshman team. He was projected to go in the lottery, so he jumped into the 2007 draft. The Kings picked him 10th overall, and he played sparingly, averaging 5 points a game. During his second season, his playing time more than doubled, and Hawes posted 11.4 points, 7 boards, and 1 block a night. He had another good season in 2010, but was traded to Philly ahead of the 2011 season. From there, Hawes settled in as a decent starter and solid bench big, never taking a step toward being a star. Still, he played through 2017, carving out a successful 10-year career. On LinkedIn, he currently lists his job as professional tweeter, and while he does tweet quite a bit, it looks like he spends his non-tweeting time working with his family's wine company. Gerald Henderson Jr. Henderson's dad, Gerald, spent 13 years in the NBA, winning 3 titles, 2 with Boston and 1 with Detroit. He's probably best known for stealing a James-worthy pass in the 1984 finals that led to a game-winning layup for Boston and turned the series. The younger Henderson was born in New Jersey while his dad was playing for the Knicks, but played high school ball in Pennsylvania. He signed with Duke for college and mostly came off the bench as a freshman. Henderson jumped into the starting lineup in 2008 and put up 13 points and 5 boards. He was even better as a junior, with 16.5 points and 5 rebounds to make the third-team All-American squad. Henderson decided to jump into the 2009 draft. The Bobcats picked him 12th overall, and he spent his first 6 seasons in Charlotte. Henderson started slowly, but was averaging around 15 points a night during his last 4 years with the Bobcats, though those teams were pretty terrible, so you could argue that they were somewhat empty stats. Ahead of the 2016 season, Henderson was traded to the Trailblazers. He came off the bench to average about 9 points a night. He joined Philly in 2017, but was out of the NBA after the season due to his nagging hip. Henderson did try to make a comeback after surgery, but tore his Achilles tendon in a pickup game and retired soon after. As of 2025, he's working in business development with the luxury real estate company that his parents started. James Keefe. Keefe signed to play with UCLA for college. He was there for 4 years, but never lived up to his hype, thanks in part to a few poorly timed injuries. He did play a bit professionally, spending time in Spain and Japan, but has been working in retail since 2013. Ty Lawson. Lawson grew up in Maryland, but finished his high school career at Oak Hill Academy. As a freshman at North Carolina, he dropped 10 points and a team-leading 5.6 assists. He upped that to 13, 5.2, and 1.6 steals as a sophomore, as the Tar Heels ran to the Final Four. Lawson came back for one last run and bumped his numbers up to 16.6 points, 6.6 assists, and 2.1 steals, helping lead UNC to a national title win. The reigning ACC Player of the Year decided to jump into the 2009 draft. Teams were a bit afraid of his short stature and a nagging ankle injury, so Lawson fell to 18th overall, where the Timberwolves picked him up. However, they'd already selected 2 other point guards, Ricky Rubio and Johnny Flynn, so they traded him to the Denver Nuggets. During his first 2 seasons, Lawson mostly came off the bench, but he played well, even earning a few votes for 6th Man of the Year in 2011. The next season, he took over as the Nuggets starting point guard, averaging 16 points, 6.6 assists, and 1.3 steals a game. He hovered around those numbers for the next 3 years, helping keep Denver in the playoff picture for most of that run. Ahead of the 2016 season, Lawson was traded to the Rockets. He played in 53 games, but was suspended for 5 total games due to charges related to driving under the influence, and Houston bought out his contract. He signed with the Pacers to end the season, but dealt with injuries, playing in just 13 games. Lawson signed with the Kings in 2017 and was solid, even recording the first triple-double of his career. He then spent a year playing in China before signing with the Wizards for the 2018 playoffs. He went back to China in 2019 and has since spent time in Greece, Tunisia, and Venezuela. Lawson retired in 2023 and looks to be heavily involved in the 1v1 scene as of 2025, while also trying to make a career in broadcasting. Brook Lopez. Lopez and his twin, who I'll talk about shortly, played high school ball alongside fellow NBA player Quincy Pondexter. The Lopez twins both went to Stanford for college ball. Brook was solid as a freshman, putting up 13 points, 6 boards, and 1.7 blocks. He came back in 2008 and bumped those numbers up to 19 points, 8 boards, and 2 blocks a night to make the third-team All-American roster. The Lopez twins both decided to jump to the NBA after the season. Brook was picked 10th by the Nets, and he was an instant starter in New Jersey, averaging 13 points, 8 boards, and nearly 2 blocks a night to finish in third for Rookie of the Year voting. During his time with the Nets, Lopez grew into a 20 points a night scorer and, somewhat unexpectedly, made a huge change to his game in 2017. Previously to that season, he rarely shot threes, but Lopez suddenly became a long-range marksman, putting up 5 a night and averaging nearly 35% from deep. He also made his only All-Star team in 2013, but did miss quite a bit of time in 2012 and 2014, so his time there was a bit up and down. Ahead of the 2018 season, Lopez was traded to the Lakers. He was solid, but was obviously taking more of a backseat role. He joined the Bucks ahead of the 2019 season and earned his Splash Mountain nickname for his outside shooting. He also became an All-Defensive player and helped the Bucks win a title in 2021. Lopez wasn't the same player he'd been with the Nets, but he was absolutely critical for Milwaukee. Ahead of the 2026 season, he signed with the Clippers, where he's currently playing as of this recording. We'll talk more about Robin in a second, but one of the twins' other brothers, Alex, played college ball at Washington and Santa Clara. And both of the twins are well known for their love of everything Disney. Robin Lopez. Robin's early story is very similar to his brother, though he was more of a defensive standout during their time at Stanford, making the Pac-10 All-Defensive team in 2008. The Suns picked the younger Lopez twin 15th overall in 2008. During his 4 years there, he played solid but unspectacular basketball, averaging about 6 points and 3 rebounds. He was traded to the Hornets ahead of the 2013 season and upped his numbers to 11 points, 6 boards, and nearly 2 blocks a night. Lopez was again traded, this time to Portland, ahead of the 2014 season. Rolo had his best season there, putting up 11 points, 8.5 boards, and 1.7 blocks a night in 2014, while also consistently giving back through his Read Big literacy campaign. Lopez then became a journeyman big man, playing through the 2024 season for 7 different teams, and that includes 2 stints with his brother in Milwaukee. As of the 2026 season, Lopez is doing some media work with NBA TV and seemingly spending as much time at Disney as possible. Also, this is just a personal gripe, but why are we not calling him Sideshow Row? Basketball Reference, you need to get it together. Vernon Macklin. Macklin finished his high school career at Hargrave Military Academy and started college ball at Georgetown. He came off the bench during his first 2 seasons to play limited minutes and decided to transfer to Florida after the 2008 season. After sitting out a year, Macklin became a starter and averaged about 11 points and 5 rebounds a night over 2 years. The Pistons picked him in the second round of the 2012 draft. He played in 23 games that year, spending most of his rookie season in the D-League. That was the end of his NBA career, but Macklin did play for several years overseas and in the D-League. He spent time in Turkey, the Philippines, China, Qatar, Puerto Rico, South Korea, and Japan. Macklin retired after the 2021 season and became an assistant coach in Korea in 2022. He's still working there as of 2025. Greg Oden. Oden was born in Buffalo, but moved to Indiana when he was 9. The big guy was up there with Durant as the best player in this class, winning back-to-back Gatorade National Player of the Year awards in 2005 and 2006, making him the second 2-time winner after LeBron James. He joined his high school teammate, Mike Conley, at Ohio State. During his lone year on campus, Oden won the Big Ten Freshman of the Year, the Pete Newell Big Man Award, the NABC Defensive Player of the Year, and finished as a second-team All-American. He jumped into the 2007 draft, where the Trailblazers picked him first overall. Before his rookie season even started, Oden underwent surgery on his ailing right knee and missed his entire first season. During his technical rookie year, Oden played in 61 games, averaging 9 points, 7 boards, and 1 block. Unfortunately, he continued to deal with knee injuries. He came back in 2010 and looked pretty good, putting up 11 points, 8.5 boards, and 2.3 blocks, but only played in 21 games before being injured again. Oden missed the next 3 seasons trying to rehab and get back into playing shape. When he returned in 2014, he joined the Heat. Oden played in 23 games, but was clearly a shell of his former self and was out of the league after the season. Oden spent a year playing in China before hanging up his sneakers. Oden went back to Ohio State to work as a student manager while finishing his degree. In 2022, he joined Thad Matta's staff at Butler, but seemingly left that position in 2024 and is running camps and doing community outreach. Scottie Reynolds. Reynolds was born in Bama, but played high school ball in Virginia because his teenage mother reluctantly gave him up for adoption. He originally signed with the Oklahoma Sooners, but decided to switch and join Villanova. Over 2 years, Reynolds proved to be a walking bucket, averaging 16 points, 3.5 assists, and 1 steal a night. He was named a first-team All-American as a senior in 2010, finishing his college career on a good note. Reynolds was not selected in the 2010 draft and wasn't able to make the Suns' final roster due to an Achilles injury after signing with the team for Summer League. He embarked on a long overseas career, spending time in Italy, the Philippines, Turkey, Israel, Russia, Croatia, Slovenia, Greece, France, Poland, and Germany. Reynolds retired in 2023 and has mostly fallen out of the public eye, though Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart did recently include him in their all-time Villanova starting fives. Jon Scheyer. In high school, Scheyer was sometimes referred to as the Jewish Jordan, as he led Glenn Brooks' all-Jewish starting lineup to a state title in 2005. More accurately, coaches said his game had shades of Larry Bird and Pistol Pete Maravich. He decided to join Duke for college ball. He was solid from the jump, pouring in 12 points a night to make the ACC All-Freshman roster. During his sophomore season, Coach K moved the young guard to the bench, letting Gerald Henderson get the starting role, but that doesn't mean Scheyer stopped pouring in buckets. In fact, most of his numbers got better, and Scheyer was back in the starting lineup as a junior. By his senior season, Scheyer had firmly established himself as a top college player with a knack for making big plays in the clutch. He upped his scoring to 18 a night to make the second-team All-American list. More importantly, Scheyer led Duke to a national title win over Butler, scoring 5 of the Dukies' last 10 points to firmly shut the door on Gordon Hayward's upstart Bulldogs. As of 2025, he is the only player in Duke history to record at least 2,000 points, 500 boards, 400 assists, 250 threes, and 200 steals in a career. He was not selected in the 2010 draft, but did spend a season in the D-League. Unfortunately, a few eye injuries sustained during Summer League kept him from ever making an NBA roster, despite his exceptional ball knowledge and sneaky athleticism. Scheyer did play for a season in Israel and another in Spain before deciding to leave his playing days behind in 2014. He then joined Coach K's staff as a special assistant. He was promoted to co-associate head coach in 2018 and named Duke's head coach in 2023 after Coach K retired. In 3 seasons, Scheyer has led the Blue Devils to an Elite 8 appearance in 2024 and a Final Four in 2025. As of this recording, he's gearing up for the 2026 season and is bringing in one of the top recruiting classes in the country, so don't be surprised if he picks up his first title as a head coach. Lance Thomas. Thomas was born in Brooklyn, but played his high school ball in New Jersey. He joined Scheyer and Henderson at Duke. Like Scheyer, he was there for 4 seasons, but never became much more than a solid rotation player, posting career averages of 5 points and 4 rebounds. Still, he did win that 2010 title and was a lockdown defender that season, making the ACC All-Defensive Team. He was not selected in the 2010 draft, but played with the Austin Toros for a few seasons in the D-League, making the All-Star game in 2012. The Pelicans then brought him in on a 10-day contract, and Thomas played well, earning a multi-year deal. Thomas spent 9 seasons in the NBA, never becoming much more than a rotation guy, but getting consistent minutes for the Pels, Knicks, Thunder, and Nets. He was out of the NBA after the 2020 season and has been very involved in fishing. In 2017, he started up his own fishing team in Louisiana, which appears to still be active, though not nearly as much as when he was still playing in the league. Brandan Wright. Wright was the first player from Tennessee to win 3 straight Mr. Basketball awards in the state. That helped him get the number 3 ranking in this class per Rivals. He joined Wayne Ellington and Ty Lawson at North Carolina, giving the Tar Heels 3 top 10 players in this class. Unlike the other 2, he only spent a year at Chapel Hill, averaging 15 points, 6 rebounds, 1 steal, and a hair under 2 blocks a night. The Bobcats picked him 8th overall in the 2007 draft. However, they made a draft night trade with the Warriors, sending Wright to Golden State in exchange for Jason Richardson. Wright dealt with a hip flexor injury during his rookie season and only played in 38 games. The next year, he was limited to 39 games thanks to a shoulder injury. Unfortunately, that injury kept him out of the entire 2010 season. After 21 games in 2011, he was traded to the Nets. There, he played in just 16 games. Wright then signed with Dallas, where he enjoyed the best stretch of his career. During his 4 seasons with the Mavs, Wright averaged 8 points, 4 rebounds, and 1 block a night. He had a few nicks over that stretch, but was generally healthier than he'd ever been in the NBA. In December 2014, he was traded to the Celtics, who traded him to the Suns a month later. Wright then spent a few more years bouncing around the league, but he could never stay healthy. He was waived by the Rockets in 2018, ending his NBA career. In 2007, he started the Team Brandan Wright program, which uses basketball to help kids in Middle Tennessee. As of 2025, he's still working with the program, which has become a solid AAU team in the high school girls scene and routinely sends girls to D1 ball. Thaddeus Young. Young was born in New Orleans, but moved to Memphis when he was in 4th grade. His dad played college ball and was selected in the 8th round of the 1978 draft, but did not play. The younger Young signed with Georgia Tech for college ball, joining Crittenton for the Yellow Jackets. During his lone season on campus, Young averaged 14 points, 5 rebounds, and 1.3 steals a night. He jumped into the 2007 draft, and the 76ers picked him 12th overall. Young averaged 8 points as a rookie to make the 2nd team all-rookie list. He bumped his scoring up to 15 a night in year 2 and became one of the league's better 6th men during his first few years in Philly. By 2013, he'd worked his way into the starting lineup and was averaging 18 a night in 2014, though the Sixers were admittedly very bad that season. Ahead of 2015, Young was traded to the Timberwolves as part of the Kevin Love trade. Later that year, he was sent to Brooklyn, where Young would continue to be a solid NBA starter. In 2016, he was traded to the Pacers. Young played there for 3 years, giving the team 12 points and 6 boards per game. Before the 2020 season started, Young decided to sign with the Bulls. There, he mostly moved back to the bench and put up decent, if inefficient, numbers. That said, he did win the NBA Hustle Award in 2021. Young spent the next few years bouncing around the league. He last played for the Spurs in 2024, but looks to be effectively retired. There's a chance he comes back in 2026 for one last run, but he looks to be heavily focused on his investment and podcasting career. And that wraps up the 2006 McDonald's All-American class. I'll be back in a few weeks with the 07 crew, but for now, why don't you check out this video about Andrew Bynum and the rest of the 05 team.